video, please click like and subscribe down below because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 46. God is the love in which I forgive. These three words really all mean the same thing. God, love, and forgiveness. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. Once they're together, you can't separate them because they're all stuck into one sticky mess. God is the love in which I forgive. Let's read today's lesson. God does not forgive because he has never condemned, and there must be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary. Forgiveness is the great need of this world, but that is because it is a world of illusions. Those who forgive are thus releasing themselves from illusions, while those who withhold forgiveness are binding themselves to them. As you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. Remember, there is only one of us here. Any time that I hold a resentment against you, I'm holding a resentment against myself. When I forgive you, I also forgive myself. Forgiveness is the bridge from the world of the ego to the world of God, from the world of illusions to the world of truth. The ego's way of seeing forgiveness, as A Course in Miracles describes it, is very different. Forgiveness in the world of the ego is I'm going to be the better person and I'm going to forgive you. My motivation comes from wanting peace for myself. When A Course in Miracles talks about forgiveness, we forgive because God does not see sin. God only sees us as perfect, healed, and whole. So there is no need to forgive. Remember, forgiveness is the bridge from the ego world to God's world. Forgiveness actually doesn't exist at all in God's world. Let's read on. Yet, although God does not forgive, his love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. Fear condemns and love forgives. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to the awareness of God. For this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the means by which illusions disappear. Through forgiveness, we return to the truth of who we are. When we are caught up in resentment, we are over here in the world of the ego. We're wearing these dirty glasses. Forgiveness is the magic eraser that takes away all of that and returns us to the truth of who we are. Let's read on. Today's exercises require at least 3 full 5-minute practice periods and as many shorter ones as possible. Begin the longer practice periods by repeating today's idea to yourself as usual. Close your eyes as you do so and spend a minute or two in searching your mind for those whom you have not forgiven. It doesn't matter how much you have not forgiven them. You have forgiven them entirely or not at all. It doesn't matter how much pee is in the pool. If there's even a little bit in there, I'm not going in. The same thing is true with our lack of forgiveness. If we have even a tiny bit of holding a grudge against someone, then we are poisoning ourselves and we are poisoning our relationship with them, in fact, with God and the world. Let's read on. If you are doing the exercises well, you should have no difficulty in finding a number of people you have not forgiven. It is a safe rule that anyone you do not like is a suitable subject. Mention each one by name and say, God is the love in which I forgive you. The purpose of the first phase of today's practice periods is to put you in a position to forgive yourself. After you have applied the idea to all those who have come to mind, tell yourself, God is the love in which I forgive myself. Then devote the remainder of the practice period to adding related ideas such as, God is the love in which I love myself. God is the love in which I am blessed. Let's talk about it. When we're living in the world of the ego, we tend to put people into 2 different buckets. One is the bucket that says, I don't like you. The other bucket is, I like you. We may have family members. We may have people that we work with. We may have neighbors. We may have politicians or people in the news. I don't like these people. The ego's tendency is to do one of two things. The ego focuses on them and ruminates and relives experiences, relives what they did, what they said, and whatever they did gets worse, it gets bigger, it gets more nasty. The second way that we have of dealing with it is that we just try not to think about it. Neither one of these ways work. The only way is to bring our lack of forgiveness to the light. Recognize that the error is inside of us, not inside the other person. What the other person does in their lives is, in fact, none of our business. It is our business what we do with that. We don't have to take on this great big backpack full of rocks and put it on our back and walk around all heavy and downtrodden because of what someone else did or said. Take that sucker off, drop it in the middle of the road, and walk free, light as a bird. Even if there's just a little pebble in that backpack, take it off. We don't need it. We don't want it. If you are having trouble with the forgiveness process, please go to my website at www.arlenegeres.com and put yourself on the waiting list for my upcoming workshop, Freedom Through Forgiveness. Let's read on. The form of the application may vary considerably, but the central idea should not be lost sight of. You might say, for example, I cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I have already been forgiven. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. The practice period should end, however, with a repetition of today's idea as originally stated. The shorter practice periods may consist either of a repetition of the idea for today in the original or in a related form as you prefer. Be sure, however, to make more specific applications if they are needed. They will be needed at any time during the day when you become aware of any kind of negative reaction to anyone, present or not. In that event, tell him silently, God is the love in which I forgive you. Would you like to do our practice session together today? We are asked to do 3 5-minute practice sessions today in which we first repeat, God is the love in which I forgive, and then we close our eyes and spend a minute or two in searching our minds for those whom we have not forgiven. So let's do that right now. God is the love in which I forgive. Go ahead, close your eyes, and just take a minute or two to search your mind for anyone who you have not forgiven. It does not matter how much you have not forgiven them. Now, let's mention each person by name. I'll read the frame and you put in their name. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive you. If you have more people on your list, stop the video, continue to say today's idea, filling in the blank with each person's name. Once you have finished that, come back to the video and finish today's practice. After you have applied the idea to all those who have come to mind, say to yourself, God is the love in which I forgive myself. We are forgiving ourselves for forgetting that this person is also a perfect, beautiful, beloved child of God. We need to forgive ourselves for judging them. God is the love in which I forgive myself. Spend the rest of the practice period adding related ideas such as God is the love in which I love myself. God is the love in which I am blessed. You may want to add, I cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I cannot be guilty because I am a daughter of God. I cannot be guilty because I am a beautiful, beloved child of God. I have already been forgiven. No fear is possible in the mind beloved of God. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. Once you've finished your 10-minute practice period, come back to the idea for today. God is a love in which I forgive. Now we've completed our first practice period. We're going to do 2 more of those today. And for our shorter practice periods, I would once again suggest that you set the timer so that you remember to do these shorter practice periods every hour. We want to start with the original idea, God is the love in which I forgive, and just review the last hour. Has there been any negative thought come up towards anyone? Then let's just apply the idea to them. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive myself. If we do that throughout the day, it's like every time that we drop a piece of dirt on the floor, we sweep it up, and then the floor stays nice and clean all day long. It's a very simple process, whether we're talking about house cleaning or keeping our spirits clean. Let's remember to do this all day long today. Thanks so much for staying right until the end, my friends. Are you ready for our special treat? God is the love in which I forgive. I forgive you, and I forgive me. I love you, my friends. Have a blessed day full of God's forgiveness.